Hello again and welcome to our super tutorial series with Heaven and Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center. My name is David Akrish. I'm the co-founder of Heaven and Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center, and this is part 2 with As Below, So Above, talking about severe skin health issues, problems. And we already have a part 1. If you haven't seen part 1, please go and look at part 1 if you have some time. It's about 25-30 minutes. And this is part 2 out of 3. And we are going to get a little deeper into this subject. And you can always contact us at ChineseHerbsForYou.com, which is our website, and store at ChineseHerbsForYou.com, and our toll-free telephone number, which is there. And if you have a moment, please like, share, subscribe, or hit the notification bell, and we greatly appreciate it. Thank you. We are offering a complimentary Chinese herbal medicine consultation, no obligation. It's for people that are very frustrated with chronic health problems and they want a natural means to balance their body, to bring their body to health, to enhance and promote super health through stronger blood and immune and digestion and so many other variables that can be offline a little bit, and we want to optimize and strengthen our bodies. So we are offering our in-depth consultation. We've been doing this for a very long time, and for over 2 decades, and we actually are experts in long-distance consultations, and we would be very happy, very glad to work with anyone who's interested in finding out a little bit more about themselves through the eyes of Chinese medicine. And all you have to do is contact us and we'll get you started. It's painless, and we'll even talk with you, personal talk on the phone, and that's about it. So we just want to make sure that we offer this and that you know that's available for you. And here we are. Oh, it's just our pictures and my wife and I, Teah, and our dog Leia. All the videos that we're putting up, I am going to always put this one up, which says please take the time to go over the video or break it into pieces if it seems too long, and go back to it and absorb it, reabsorb it, because there's so many things that you're probably going to have to listen to a couple times, and it's well worth understanding and knowing for your own personal health, the health of your family, friends, coworkers, and even your pets, especially dogs. We are experts in working with dogs and Chinese herbal formulas that have done just great work with the dogs, and we can, for the most part, help you. If you have any questions on any level, get a hold of us. We're going over the subject of skin because it's been asked. People ask about it all the time at our business, and I thought it would be a really great subject. And we're using these words of named health, biomedical health, diseases, what I don't even know what to call them, syndromes, whatever you want to call it, just labeling something that's happening, and you have to put a label on it. But we are going to convert those words and names into something much different, which is our Chinese medicine patterns, what formulas that you may want to take, and why they may be occurring. And as the name again says, as below, so above, something that's showing externally, we can, for the most part, believe that something's happening internally, causing that external eruption or giving us a picture of something that's going on. And if we can go inside and do some internal changes and balancing and cooling and regulating, that we can draw that heat out and bring health and healing to the skin, which also means that we're bringing health and healing to your blood, to your organs, to your fluids, to your digestion, and many other things that are happening inside, imbalances that are happening inside your body. So we say this on all the videos. We're saying the same thing. We'll always repeat the same ideas. So it becomes common knowledge that most problems are an internal problem. And that's where we need to start. Not to say that you wouldn't be putting something on your skin or something to heal and cool and reverse the heat and the issue that's happening. But for the most part, we're looking at an internal way to cause changes so that you may resolve the issues that are happening on the outside of your body. We are going to look at different types of named skin problems, but we are going to translate them actually into the way we would look at it through more directly what is happening and why it's occurring and the different patterns that's involved with these occurrences and the different formulas that you may want to consider researching and looking at and applying to yourself. And really the part one is going to give you a really in-depth understanding on how we go through the three-part process to finally get to the formulas. And so you may want to go again back to part one and review it. It's well worth it instead of just starting on part two. I mean, the reason part one's there is to give you really an opening and great lead up into where we're going with this information here. But this part two is actually directly about these different skin problems, health issues, and then and explaining them. And then part three we'll be looking at the formulas and some other deeper Chinese medicine patterns. So what's important is not really to focus on the name that it's above, even though I listed them, eczema, the dermatitis, but what is actually happening. Okay, so we need to separate our minds and look at what is actually happening. If we didn't even know that there was a name associated to the skin problem, these eruptions or cracking or the oozing, the smell, the dampness, the itching, scaling. So what is happening? And then we have to understand through a Chinese medicine pattern where it's rooted from, and then look at the different formulas. And so that's really why I listed this here. Is it's more to look at the daily, we call daily disharmonies, or just something that's not harmonized or balanced in your body, which is this whole list is not something that's normal, or where you're having a healthy, and that's what I mean by normal, healthy, normal skin. It doesn't mean that you're not normal. It just means that it's not normal to have this happening to your skin, and that something else may be happening internally causing these problems. So that's really where we're going with this. This is based on Chinese medicine, and it's a different point of view. So I have to list these other names up above just to draw us in, so we can say, okay, I have this, but really what do I have? What's going on? And that's what this video is about. So a couple of things that's happening here is, if you look at the rest of her skin, it actually looks kind of healthy. But why is this happening right here? Part of it could be that this is a very warm and damp area. And so warmth and dampness, that's not being transformed and moved and then brought along with heat, can cause, if we look up here, heat, dryness, blood, and yin deficiency, the damp, all of it together. We have all these different problems kind of multiplied together to cause the outer showing of this. I'm not going to call it anything other than a skin problem. That there's something happening on the skin, but why is it happening? And I always say the biggest word in Chinese medicine is why, W-H-Y. And so it's interesting that it's in this area. So that's a big clue. That's an area where her hair is at. Another consideration other than what I have here for what I'm going to say is a diagnosis, the heat, the dryness, blood and yin deficiency, is that what part of your body, what meridians, what acupuncture points you may be having something show at. So that's another consideration I just want to bring up. But still, this is it's happening here, and we need to just look directly at what it is, at a direct idea of that it's heat, it's dry, it's flaking, and how can we reverse this? How can we change what's happening inside of this man's body? And actually, if you look at his face, he actually has some, and maybe it's the picture, we don't know, but I'm just going to go by that he does look like his face has a lot of redness and dryness and possible yin deficiency or yin fire. So, I mean, without a doubt, he's having some type of a yin deficiency, yin fire, or blood deficiency problem that's causing this outer eruption on the skin. So again, as I said in part one, if you're thinking something's just happening on the skin, it's only outside, it's only external, then we're not thinking on Chinese medicine basis. And that's what we're here to do, is change our thinking and change our ideas on why something's happening, and maybe other things that could be happening along with it. So as I was saying earlier, not just to describe what we're seeing, but where we're seeing it. And that's what this slide is about. So it could be part of this area is the spleen or kidneys, or it's near the liver. I mean, we don't need to worry about that too much, but we need to think that, or to consider that could be within the realm of what's going on here. And that's part of the picture, because everything has a meaning. It isn't, and that's a big thing on health. Everything does have a meaning. There is a connection, instead of it's just happening there, and that's, I don't know, it's just random. But here's the feet, and a lot of dampness happens down here, and overheating. But again, what's interesting, why isn't it around the rest of his body? The rest of his skin actually looks normal. So why is it just happening in this area? It's something to consider. But anyways, what we really want to do is break down again the idea that there's different patterns or imbalances that are happening internally, and it's showing externally. And this is just where it happens to be. I mean, maybe he has in different places on his body. I'm guessing it's a guy. I'm seeing some hairs, but maybe it's not. Doesn't matter. But that is really what we need to consider. And we need to look at, here's another thing that I have to bring up. We have to look at other parts of the puzzle, instead of just looking at just the skin problem, which we can, but ask other questions, to find about different disharmonies that will lead us to different Chinese medicine patterns that could be coexisting together, creating a complex intermingling problem of heat and dampness and digestion problems. And so this is how we finally lead ourselves to the correct formulas and what's going on, and what a person should start investigating or taking. So again, I'm always going, it seems, to over things before, or giving ideas before I get into the next slide, which is probably a good thing, because it means I'm being consistent. But I'm saying the same thing here, is you have congestion and dampness and heat and different things that are happening at different times, or when it occur. These different problems can occur. Really, in the bottom line is we need to get down to is the daily disharmonies leading to the Chinese medicine patterns, and then finally the proper formulas. That's really what it comes down to. But it's well worth reading this slide. So what you see or feel on the outside is a direct reflection of what is happening on the inside. It's the crux, again, I'm using that word, the crux of this video and all of, really, for us, Chinese herbal medicine. And here I have, this is exactly why, maybe the word why shouldn't be, this is exactly Chinese herbal medicine. So I'm finishing off with a couple other named health skin issues with rosacea and lupus, and looking at them as maybe a little more severe with the heat. But I don't want to say, I'm saying it, but I'm not really saying it, because everything can have a heat fire issue or yin deficiency. It just depends on the person and where their pattern is at. But it is, all of these, that's what I'm saying, is the names almost don't matter. I mean, it matters to a lot of people because they're given a name to a problem, and somehow, maybe you're connected to it. And I'm not here to insult anybody or cause any type of problem in that way. I'm just saying that if we remove the name, for Chinese medicine, there is no name on a problem. It's a given name, lupus from the dog. With it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with what's happening inside and why it is happening. And so with these severe skin issues that are with the heat rising, that's what we need to look at, and how to bring the heat down and renourish and put things back in order. And that can be very difficult and actually take some time, but it can be done. And so in a natural way of naturally balancing your body. So it's really, what I'm trying to do here is make a very big shift in a different direction of thinking, and taking away a named disease and look at more of a named cause and a named solution. And again, what I have here is other problems that could be, or daily disharmonies that could be and are associated. So if you look, and that really is what this slide is about, is that if you have, let's say, lupus, or you've been given that name as a skin health issue disease, then you might have these other daily disharmonies down here. and which would make sense because of the fire issue that's happening, and it's a direct connection. And so then we can see that, wait, this is coming from a much different place, and we can start understanding and working on these other problems. So that was really a quick run through and translation of really severe chronic health skin issues. But I think the idea is getting across, especially as I'm breaking this up into 3 different parts. And there, again, will be a 3rd part coming up pretty soon. But if you have any questions, contact us. If you have a comment, if you'd like something for us to talk about with another type of health issue, we'd be glad to do that. So put it in the comment section. And you can also contact us for a complimentary consultation, and we'll look at your tongue. You'll write out a narrative for us, and then you'll answer a couple other questions. It's actually darn easy in that sense, and we'll take our time and look it over and get back to you and have a nice conversation. And so we'd love to do that. But yeah, like I said, this was a pretty quick run through on the information, but it's just to really bring awareness and to bring a shift of change within your mind and your idea on why something's happening, and maybe there is in your mind, and to help you think that there are some answers and ways to work on maybe not just the skin, which is really, really important, but the rest of your health. So that interconnection that goes together with Chinese medicine. Thank you for taking the time for watching this video, and this is part 2 of our As Below, So Above. And my name is Dave Akrish, co-founder of Heaven Earth Chinese Medicine Healing Center. All the information is here if you ever want to get a hold of us. We'd love to hear from you, and stay tuned for part 3. It's coming up very soon. Thank you very much. Have a great day.